It has been 1 year since the coronavirus put a halt on proms last spring and homecoming this past fall, but there is hope for the class of 2021.
The most important aspect to me is trying to get as many people there as possible, just because I feel like our entire class deserves it, because we've had the worst possible year. So I would say the main thing that I want to focus on is just trying to get as many people there as possible. And I want to also just be able to have as much dancing as possible. That's always been something that people are kind of concerned about with the proms happening and weddings happening, is dancing. So I think that the easier it is for us to be able to have dancing, the more kids will actually want to go to prom, because without dancing, there is no prom.
We understand that it's very important for our seniors. We began having conversations about what it could look like for them based on Rhode Island mandates. And so you always, as teachers, we're very good in having plan A, plan B, plan C. So I think what we want to do is make sure that A, that they have a graduation and a prom, and B, that it's done within the guidelines of the state of Rhode Island.
I've been very fortunate to have a great alumni named Ed Brady, who's a city councilman, who's been on the forefront of leadership, trying to make sure that events can happen like proms this coming spring. So we're doing our best to be on the forefront and be proactive to make sure that there are guidelines in place, that proms can happen in some way, shape, or form. But this coalition has really put a lot of energy into this, and we feel very strongly that we're going to make something happen for the class of 2021.
It's the power of many, and it's a collective, it's groups, it's obviously working with teachers, working with administrators, working with students, working with parents, working with coalitions, working with being on the transition of the governor's team, having a seat at the table, being able to help approach common sense leadership in a safe way to execute, obviously, joy, happiness, fun, proms, conversations, learning. So, I'm very blessed by creating all these relationships to be able to have these conversations to hopefully get them to the end to make them happen.
I think with this year, since it's been so hard, we've lost so much, and I just think we all need to come together as one, masks or however you want to do it, we all just need to be together as a class.
We're in this field for a lot more. We want to see the excitement of students. We want to see the well-rounded experience that they have here in high school. And so part of those things are life events. The life events of graduation and prom are significant for our senior class. So we want to make sure that that's going to happen.
So to just keep that proper precaution in place to make sure that we're still doing the best that we can to make sure that we're keeping the rest of our community safe is really important.
So I am fortunate enough to be able to work where I went to high school. So as a track coach here at Cranston West, I get to experience high school kind of all over again through the eyes of my athletes. And I've seen how much joy sports reopening has brought to them. Despite it being different with the masks and not having fans, the kids light up when they get together and run. So I know the same thing will happen with the prom and graduation. These rite of passage events are just essential parts of our life. And it was almost 20 years ago that I went to my prom. And, I remember it like it was yesterday, and I can't imagine not being able to do that.
Kids have had the most difficult year. I mean, I can only look at the last year and see everything that they've missed. And if I was a high school senior, how I would feel. So I'm trying to put ourselves in their shoes. And, something like this just creates so much hope, so much excitement, so much joy going into a summer as we're coming out of a pandemic, as vaccines continue to roll out to teachers and throughout our communities. It's time to give a little bit of joy in a safe way, obviously by executing proms at the end of the year and graduations and kind of giving them the proper send-off that they deserve.
That senior class, once they have their senior prom, and that's when they give a sigh of relief and be like, we did it, we pulled it off. So, that part is exciting, and that part has been probably the most enjoyable, rewarding part of the job is when your senior prom comes and that accomplishment.
Just to be able to have a prom would be very important, as it's something I've dreamed of since I was even little. I've watched all my older cousins go, get dressed up, I just wanted that moment for myself. So I feel like if we have it as a group, I think everybody would just be thankful. And just to have that moment in our dresses, in our makeup, half makeup because of the mask, or just the smiling with your eyes. I think no matter what, we should use it. we should use this opportunity to have it.
Well, I'm very proud and honored to serve the class of 2021. Our seniors have been awesome kids throughout this ordeal. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have a prom last year. And this year we're trying to do our best to try to serve the kids and give them some kind of experience to go out with a bang.
We had a t-shirt made and it says uplift each other, and the proceeds from those t-shirts will get split between Cranston East and Cranston West to make sure that if we get the prom to go off safely, that kids aren't deterred from going because of finances. This year has been tough on everyone, on parents. Kids are probably working less, so we want to make sure that everyone can go.
So to be able to actually wear that dress for prom is going to be something that's so exciting, and it's been something that, in my eyes, it's almost like a sigh of relief that like this is kind of the culmination of all the hard work that our class has put in this year and the past 3 years as well. And it's kind of showing us the light at the end of the tunnel and showing us that this can happen. And it's kind of showing that like, okay, like we're almost there, we're almost at the end, like we just have to keep pushing, and if this can happen, like so many other things can soon happen. And it's just kind of like exciting, not only for the fact that it's prom, but because like everything that's happened in the past years seems like it's going to be coming to an end. And I think that that is even more exciting than the fact of just being able to go to prom.
So now to have this glimmer of hope that this is going to happen, I mean, how can you not get excited that some of this stuff is coming to light? And that's what spring's all about, right? It's coming to life, and I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing students around here. When students are back in this school, it makes us all come back to life. They're like the blood that flows through this building. And when they're not here, the building is an empty shell almost. And, we as teachers all feel that way. But now that students are back in, we're starting to get our life back. We're starting to feel good. But we still have to proceed with the priority, which is being very safe and keeping people healthy. So that's the priority still. It's still at the forefront. However, you have a sense of enthusiasm now that, you could give these life moments back to students that they so earned over their 12, 13 years in Cranston Public Schools.
I feel very confident that we're going to provide some kind of experience for these kids, whether it's a traditional prom or some kind of social function where they can get together safely and have the best experience possible to close out their year 2021.
It may not end up being the prom we planned, but we'd like to thank the Superintendent's Office administration, public officials, faculty, and parents for putting their best foot forward to help our class of 2021 go out with a bang.